What's up, guys? Today, of course, I'm going to be discussing and breaking down, much like my other videos, the artillery truck in Battlefield 1. In the artillery truck, what it is basically a low armor, highly agile type of vehicle that only holds one person. And it allows you to sort of keep longer range engagements and really do some destruction, depending, of course, on the class you choose. So, my particular favorite here, and the first one we're going to break down, is the armored artillery truck. And what this does, of course, with this you get low armor, like I said, but you have increased agility, which does give you a bit of an advantage when you're sort of roaming around the battlefield. But you want longer range engagements to take care of. Well, for this class you get an anti-tank cannon and an LMG. The LMG you can use as your sort of moving around. It's good to dispatch infantry sort of surrounding you, trying to run up on you. And the other thing too, this here, the anti-tank cannon is extremely damaging. I think it does like 30 to 40 damage plus, maybe even more, even to high-end heavy tanks and such. So it's extremely damaging. It's extremely useful for outputting high damage to larger, bigger threats. And I like what you get with it too. Emergency repair is always good for 30-32 health replenishing, and if you get disabled. So if you get into trouble, because this thing will take a lot of, it won't take a lot of damage, it will take very little to disable it. So having emergency repair to get yourself in an area where you can use the agility to get yourself out of trouble, excellent. It's an excellent thing. The other thing which I don't really like as much are the anti-tank mines, because it's more used for sort of a bait and switch style technique where you can lure a tank into following you, throw down the mines, hopefully he's unaware, he runs into them, boom, explosion, and that's the end of that. So let's take us in. We'll have a look at the old gal. So when you go in, of course, you can use your LMG as you float around. Not too bad, good at taking out everything. Here's the AT cannon, look at this. Boom. And it has a bit of a reload time. And of course, because I'm going downhill, it's why I'm still moving. So we'll go to an area that's more even, and I'll show you what I mean. So you can use the LMG when you move around. With this thing, if you're stopped, I'm pushing the accelerator right now, and you're not allowed to go forward. And I think you get 4 or 5 of these shots, and then it takes a while to reload. So very good. It's probably my favorite overall. And of course, if you're moving forward, you drop the mines behind you, we back them up, there they are, explosions, boom, always fun. That's the class, and of course, if I was in a good server to show you, you take damage, emergency repair brings you back to health. No problems there. Okay, so the next variant of the artillery truck, as we go in here, is the second package, the anti-aircraft truck. This one's another good one. It's not as, again, same thing goes, single person can fit in this thing. And then you have, of course, the concern of not a lot of armor, so you have to be very wary of things shooting at you and targeting you. But it does have, again, like I said, much like the other version, good mobility to it, so that's its strength. It has an LMG to try and take out anything charging at you infantry-wise, and it has an anti-aircraft gun to try and deal with aircrafts. So if you go into, say, Sinai Desert or Monte Grappa, or a map with lots of planes, and you take advantage of your positioning on the ground, you can really do some havoc to the air. The difference is, though, the anti-air weapon's not the best against infantry. You really have to land shots to do damage, so it wouldn't be your best choice for infantry. You'd probably either try and take advantage of the LMG, or, especially with other land vehicles as well, that's a bit of a problem. The anti-aircraft gun is just not going to be outputting a lot of DPS to take them out quick. You have 2 really good ways of countermeasures, so to speak. Emergency repair, again, 30 plus damage, and the disable repair the second you run into trouble. Gives you a great chance at getting away to repair yourself, get yourself ready for battle again. And of course, emergency smoke screen, or the smoke screen. That's another really good one. It can set you up for flank angles to attack the enemy when he's not prepared. He can't see you. Always the advantage when you're aware of where the enemy is and he's not aware of you. And the other thing too, it's also extremely good if you're in trouble. Pop the smoke screen, retreat, get yourself back to health, give yourself your ammo a chance to regenerate, and then you're ready to go. So let's go in. You won't be able to see a ton again, but when you're roaming around here, here's your LMG. Infantry runs at you, he's grounded, ain't no thing. Then you switch over. Here's your anti-aircraft weapon. So something's flying around, take it out as it's coming at you. You get a lot of shots too, which is nice. It does overheat a bit, but that's not too bad. Then of course emergency repair, and there's your smoke screen. So say I'm in trouble here, somebody shot me. All I have to do is pop the smoke, continue backing up, and then just pop repair to repair. So it has a lot of viability to it. You just have to sort of stay in medium range engagements and of course focus on the air. Don't try and get too cocky and go after infantry, or you're going to find yourself dead and back in the respawn screen in no time. So last but not least, we're going to go into the last package here for the artillery truck, which is the armored mortar truck. And again, of course, the problem is this is a single vehicle or a single person vehicle, doesn't have a lot of armor, it takes a high rate of damage. And on top of that, the mortars they're not very strong. You do have two options with them. You get, of course, an HMG this time instead of an LMG, which is quite good at taking out infantry, much better than the LMG as you'd expect, and pretty good at even doing damage to low armored vehicles such as planes going by over the top. And you get the option of two different types of mortars, one for laying down smoke and one for gas, which of course the smoke would be really good for an area that you want to invade. As like say you're in rush, you lay down some smoke for your teammates to try and push up and take an objective, or gas if you really want to say flush people out of a particular area if you're trying to take out the defense and say you're attacking on rush. That's the good things for them. You can choose between the two. Of note though, you have no countermeasures as a result of taking this, so that's the trade-off. You really have to stay back, and this one is by far my least favorite of them, because the fall patch put it in that these mortars don't really do as much damage at longer range. Most people just throw on a gas mask now as they've figured out the game. So I find this one to be not very strong overall. I feel like I can do much more damage in any variant of tank or the other two version of the armored truck. So that's my biggest concern with this one. It can be useful in certain situations, but I feel like any overall tank is probably going to be more useful for dealing destruction and maybe pushing toward an objective. But yeah, maybe it has a use somehow. If you liked the video, please leave a like. Check out my tutorial, which gives much further breakdowns and details into strategies and becoming a better player with regard to vehicles. Of course, have a look at that if you haven't already. Share it if you feel it's good, and subscribe for more if you'd like to see more. Have a good one, YouTube.